One Berberian Sound Studio is a 2012 film written and directed by Peter Strickland, who stated that he wanted to make a film where everything that is usually hidden in cinema, the mechanics of film itself, is made visible. Berberian turns this on its head. Here, the film is out of view, and you only see the mechanics behind it. Indeed, we see things through the eyes of the protagonist, British sound engineer Gilderoy, and we share his confusion between reality and fiction. The movie had great success and actually marked Strickland's emergence as a key British filmmaker of his generation. Presented at the last Cannes Film Festival, Titani is a film written and directed by director Julia Ducournau. The main character is the dancer Alexia who, following a car accident, gets brain surgery and has a titanium plate implanted into her head. Later on, we see her working as a showgirl, and it is revealed that she is a serial killer who murdered several men and women. The film actually portrays a magnetic female figure who will keep you fascinated, and we have to say the director managed to emphasize her central traits while playing on nuances and transformations. 3. The Shining is a real masterpiece directed by Stanley Kubrick, starring Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance. Of course, it is based on the work of another master, Stephen King, who wrote the novel of the same name. Danny is the protagonist, a child who has visions of the past and the future, wherever he is. Kubrick's style and Jack Nicholson's performance have made this film a classic in terms of horror films, and it has even been put in first place, and for Empire magazine, in 2008, it is in 52nd place among the best 500 films in history. So you should definitely watch it. For BX Radiation, Destruction Man was the original title for The Incredible Shrinking Man, a 1957 film, directed by Jack Arnold and inspired by Richard Matheson's 1956 novel The Shrinking Man. The plot revolves around the story of Scott Carey who, during a motorboat trip, is enveloped by a strange fog that will gradually shrink him. We realize how crazy the plot sounds, but if you like vintage science fiction, this might be the perfect film for you. Besides, the film led to some remakes, including the comedy The Incredible Shrinking Woman in 1981, showing its success. 5. Released in 1992, CANDYMAN tells the story of two young men who try to solve the mystery of CANDYMAN, who is a serial killer who has been murdering young women and children in a ghetto for years. But gradually they come to realize that the real killer is not necessarily the one they think, and things tend to move more and more towards the paranormal. The film was a big success, and was actually followed by 3 other opus, and even a remake released in September 2021. This is a movie you should not miss, and definitely on the scariest night of the year. 6. Actually less funny or gory than other movies on this list, VHS is in fact extremely scary. It tells the story of thieves who are looking for mysterious videotapes in an abandoned house. But they will soon discover that all these VHS from the 80s and 90s are actually home movies, vlogs, and diaries that turn to be horror films. The atmosphere is really creepy, so you have to get ready for it, but the movie is a must-see if you like to be scared, and if you are looking for a classic on Halloween. 7. Many films have explored the theme of dreams, as well as the horror you can get from nightmares. However, this one is particularly terrifying since the Canadian director understood very well how frightening dreams can be for viewers who don't really know how far the characters could go in their dreams. Besides, Come True is special in comparison to other horror films because of its lighting, cinematography, and soundtrack. The main actors are not very famous, but they give a very good performance that might prevent you from sleeping at night. 8. Let's go back to classic horror films with Recording, which is bound to make you feel anxious. Nominated at several specialized festivals, it is often considered one of the best films of its generation. Like Paranormal Activity, it is shot entirely through the prism of an onboard camera, which increases the panic of the viewer, making you feel closer to the characters. This was also a challenge for the actors, as the sequences were very long and brought unfamiliar special effects. It tells the story of a TV crew trapped in a hotel with monsters, and actually had 3 sequels between 2009 and 2014. 9. Hereditary is the first movie by Ari Aster, which grossed $80.2 million worldwide, and was released in 2018. It actually had a lot of success for an independent film, which is definitely due to the suspense surrounding the Graham family. In the thriller, it all starts with the funeral of their grandmother, and then turns darker and darker very quickly, with daughter Charlie dying in a horrible accident. We have to say that the movie has also got a good point. If family reunions make you anxious, watching it might help you exorcise your fears, as what happens there is a lot worse. 10. Reanimator is a series of 3 horror films directed by Stuart Gordon and Brian Yuzna, released in 1985, 1989 and 2003. If you love mad scientists and zombies, you definitely have to watch this movie. Based on the story of Herbert West, Reanimator by H.P. Lovecraft, the movie follows Herbert West, the inventor of a serum that can resurrect people. When the movie was produced, it was also released in a censored version, and then was later on re-edited. The film was so popular that a third version was made, so you could say that censorship might even have increased its success.
For such cool and interesting information, subscribe and like our top most Sing English channel and page. Thank you for watching.